Hi, my name is Dr. Vicky Umi Falaji. I'm here to just talk about my mother. I've been asked to do a tribute to my mom, Mrs. Folahanmi Sijuwade Asaolu. What can I say about one of the most beautiful human beings who walked this world, this life? What can I say about a great woman who was my mother, who gave birth to me? What can I say? Let me first of all start with how she lived her life. She lived a fulfilled life. And when I say fulfilled, I mean a life that had no regret, a life that when you can live a life and leave this world and say, my job is done. That was the kind of life that she lived. The last thing she asked for from God, the last sentence she made, the last words that came out of her mouth was, Uluwa shadow for me. God have mercy on me. God have mercy on me. That was the last thing that came from my mouth. And when you can have that opportunity to be able to say, God have mercy on me, man, what else are you looking for? I really bless the name of our Lord Jesus Christ for my mother. She was given the opportunity and she used it. Imagine, she was born into a Muslim family. Her father was a strong Muslim leader and Alhaji that used to take the Muslims onto pilgrimage to Mecca years after years. A stinkingly rich man that gave birth to her. Unfortunately, she wasn't given the opportunity to benefit from the man's wealth. She had to raise herself after her mother died, leaving her with two younger sisters that she had to look after. So she had to be strong, not just for herself, but for her two little sisters. And she took over the job of raising herself and her little sisters. She took that job on and she did her part. And growing up, I thought she was she was just too tough on me. I thought, how can she be so strict? She was excessively strict. But she had to be. Because imagine if she hadn't been like that, I don't know what I would have turned out to be. So I really thank God for her. What will I say I learned from my mom? Most things I learned from her. I learned to be contented. I learned to be happy in my own skin. I learned to be confident. I learned to dress impeccably. I learned to live by faith. I learned to be the best that God has created me to be. And being the best that God has created me to be isn't just something that happens. I've got to work hard at it. She taught me to be that. I learned to trust God on, trust Him 100%. I learned to be, generous to other people. I learned to be kind to other people. I learned not to be that kind of person that just, in my language we say, oh, she, no. If your A is A, let your A be A. If your B is B, let your B be B. You don't need to be doing this and doing this. Let you be known for someone that stands for honesty. Be known as someone who is who stand by the truth. Be known as someone that doesn't gossip about anyone else. And she taught me this. I remember when she came visiting me here in Melbourne, She said something to me when she looked at she watched the dynamics of what was going on around that time with people that I used to relate with. She called me and she said, Buki, èèyàn mẹ́ta ò kì í ṣọ̀rẹ́ o, meaning no three people can be friends. Be careful, be careful, be careful. She asked me, the person that was doing my hair was braiding my hair, how much was I paying? I said $100. She said, if you go and get your hair done in Melbourne, how much would you be paying? I said $120. She said, okay, go to Melbourne and get your hair done. I said, why, mommy? She said, the person that is collecting 100 from you will not go and tell other people that she collects money from me. She'll be telling them that I'm doing free, that she was doing free for me, and painting me bad to them. That if you go to the hair salon and get your hair done, you pay $120, that's done. It's only $20 difference, but you have peace of mind. And there won't be stories and stuff going on that when you get to know, it's gonna hurt you. What a wise words. What wise words was that? Because I eventually got to know what she was talking about. Because yes, I got some of those stories and I'm like, my mom said it. My mom advised me. My mom told me. She was the type that, it's better if you're not serving God. But if you say you're serving God, give him your 100%. I remember I was visiting home and I was there and she wanted to buy some Ankara fabrics like this. So she wanted to buy some for me and make for me to bring back to Australia. And she sent for one of the people that sells those Ankara. That woman brought stuff and she now told the woman, okay, we'll take 6 of different styles, designs. So give me 6 yards here, 6 yards there, 6 yards there. And the woman, she thought she was being fast. She wanted to cheat and get some of the materials to herself. So instead of 6 yards, she measured from some of the materials. She measured 4.8 meters, not 4.8 yards or 4, not up to what we wanted. So eventually the tailor was called to come and take all those materials. But the tailor, when she got there, she had to measure because they know my mom, she's as straight as a pencil. So the tailor measured and she said, Mama, there's only 4.8 here, and this one there's only 5 meters here, and this one there's. So my mom sent for the woman that sold the materials. She came, and mom said, okay, check out these materials. How many? I asked for 6 meters. What happened? Because we did the measurement, and this was 4.5, this was 4.8, this was 5. What happened? The woman started looking for excuses to say, and my mom said, I will never forget this. She said, look at you. You go to church daily. You go to night vigils. You pray all night. You do all this. You don't have earring. You don't do makeup. You look as if you are suffering. And what are you doing it for? If you cannot be honest. All those prayers that you are praying and you are now cheating people and you think God will answer you. The way she talked to her not just straight with English. She used the Ijesha dialect, very strong. I felt like, oh my goodness. The way she would say it, she was saying the truth. And she would say the truth, she would say it so loud in the dialect for you to understand. She will never go behind your back and start bad-mouthing you. She'll tell you in front of you. She'll tell you what she thinks. She'll tell you what she believes. It's for you to take it or not. She'll say, I'm only responsible for what comes out of my mouth. How you interpret it is your problem. But if you believe that whatever I'm saying needs you to do something about it, go ahead, Go and do something about it, because it's going to be for your own good. What a great woman that walked this planet. What a great woman. I've heard this before, and I'm going to say this right now, that you live your life in a way that when you die, no one will come and start telling lies about the life that you lived. Everything that has been said about her were the truth, nothing but the truth. She was a great woman, a woman of faith, a woman that loved God, a woman that right now I believe she's praising God. She's singing praises to the Most High King. She's in a good place. If you have the opportunity to be able to say at your last breath, God, have mercy on me, what a life. What a life. And that was the opportunity my mom had. Though she served God, she was given the opportunity to be able to say, God, have mercy on me. And I believe the merciful God was merciful to her. She's in a great place. And I thank you all for watching this. May you be blessed. For all my mom's friends that have been there supporting us, not just physically, not just saying words, but they've been there through and through, praying for us, advising us. We bless God for you. We thank God for you. And all that is yours, the host of angels will protect. All that is yours. Whatever you put your hands on, you succeed in Jesus' name. Thank you, and may God bless.
Bye. Good day and good evening to everyone. I am Pastor Raymond Adebayo Asaolu, the first son of my mother, Mrs. Folahanmi Sijuwade Asaolu. It is with immense joy and gratitude to God that I want to talk about my mother. And I'm going to talk about my mother with 5 of the principles with which she lived her life. Number 1 principle is the principle of prayerfulness. My mother was a prayerful person. She prayed and fasted at will. She taught me this all-time great principle of fasting and prayer, and it never failed her. God literally showed up and answered all her prayers with undeniable proofs to show. I remember when my wife and I were trusting God for the fruit of the womb for 4 years. My mother, being a woman of faith and a prayerful woman, supported us prayerfully. She supported us, standing with us in faith. And after 4 years, we had our first General Folahanmi Asaolu, and all glory and praises be unto his holy name. Number 2 principle that I want to talk about is the principle of punctuality. My mother was a punctual person. She was never late to any event, particularly church services. She was always on time. She was of the belief that if you come late for the things of God, God will come late in answering your prayers. Number 3 principle is the principle of giving. My mother was a generous person to a fault. Her lifestyle of giving was an enviable one. Indeed, it is worthy of emulation. She always used to give to the poor and needy. Lots of students benefited from her giving lifestyle, as she paid school fees of many and used to support many with food and money. Number 4 principle is the principle of discipline. My mother was a disciplinarian par excellence. She disciplined us and taught us discipline. She never withheld her hand and tongue of discipline from anyone, particularly those who were prepared to listen. She will tell you her mind. She will tell you her own perception and idea. regardless of how you felt. We thank God for how she disciplined us. Number 5 principle is the principle of support. My mother was a supportive individual to her husband, that is my father, to us, her children, to our colleagues, and the Church of God at large. She supported many in finding their purpose in life. She helped a lot of pastors, in their ministries, buying them musical instruments, buying them air conditioners, supporting them with monies. I remember how she gave her unflinching support to my father's ministry. Her supportive lifestyle made her to stay unmarried to my father when she had numerous reasons to leave. And for that, I am eternally grateful to her. I will end this with 2 wonderful quotes. Number 1 says, create a life of which you will be proud. And that is from Pam Jenoff. And I believe her mother created a story. She came to this world and she managed to create a story that we will live to tell for forever. And the story, I believe our children have heard of it, our children saw it, and I believe they are going to tell their own children's children about the same story. And I will finally end this with the second quote from Omuakwana Antonia. He says, a life of service is a life well and greatly spent. Our mother led a life of service. She served others. She served our community. She served my father. She served us, our children. She served the Church of God. She served God till she went to be with Him. And for that, I say all glory and thanks be unto the name of Yahweh. God bless you all. Amen.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Folahanmi Asaolu. I'm the second son of late Mrs. Folahanmi Sijuwade Asaolu. Speaking about my mother, she was a doted mother, a no-nonsense woman. She taught us a lot of things, and I dare say this to you, that my mother, when she was with us, was one in a billion. She's a mother everyone would love to have. Our philosophies about life, it's something that would live with me forever. You won't live with my mother, and my mother will be in the kitchen, and you would expect to eat out of the food. When she's done, she will tell you, your bite get on your get. That if you should eat that food, for those who really understand the Gisha language, you would understand what I'm trying to say there. My mother would tell us, if you so decide to be wasting water, if you have a running water in the house and then you're just wasting the water, she will say to us, that is the way you waste water. It's the same way you waste oil. She taught us to be frugal. She taught us to spend wisely. She taught us to be decent. She taught us comportment. That when you get to somewhere, you should comport yourself. You should behave in a way that is respected or that is respectable to your person. And you should do things in such a way that people will respect you. He taught us to be humble. He taught us to behave courteously. You can't live with my mother with, and you won't be courteous. Then you must dress impeccably. It's a thing for her. You don't need to break the bank before you come out nicely with my mother. Just look good, look decent, look squeaky clean. That's her thing. And I can remember growing up, she would ensure she buy things that when people see such on us, they would ask you, where did you get this? I could remember a lot of trips to Leonard stores, Bata, where she would pick beautiful sandals for us. And I remember a lot of things about her. Her no-nonsense stance. She was a no-nonsense woman. I told her about a month before her demise that I find it so hard to go to a viewing center to watch a football match. I've never done it in my life. And I said, what has always guided my thought in that regard has always been coming out and seeing my mother. The first thing my mother would tell or would say to me would be, that you two, you are going to cinema house to watch ball. And the way she would say it, you would feel like the ground should open and get you submerged. For those who understand the Judicial language very well, you would rather prefer to be beaten rather than be scolded. When she's saying those things to you in the Jesha dialect, they will be piercing your innermost soul. That's the kind of mother we had. And at some point we felt that she was too hard on us. But we thank God for those Spartan, orthodox, and no-nonsense training that is nulli secundus. We thank God for her life of service to others. She was a giver. She lived her life for others by extending hand of fellowship to the poor, to the widows, to the needy. And we thank God for her life of prayers. My mother was an example of the mustard seed in the Bible. Our faith in God, I cannot describe it. She had prayed before that a tree should wither, and she left the house before she got back. It happened. She told me after I finished my PhD. At those times, you guys do think I do go to for conferences of Women's Guild or Mothers Union. At those times, I do go on lone prayer retreat to mountains. I'll go in the morning just to be there all alone by myself to pray for all of you. And we thank God that God answered all our prayers on us. And He will continue to answer those prayers because she had prayed. And we are seeing the hands of God in her lives. I can continue talking about my mother. I can continue to say a lot of things about her. I can continue. My mother will call a spade a spade. She was as straight as pencil. As straight as pencil. She will say to you, you don't need to like her. She will tell you, well, that's the way I feel. Well, it's the way you feel is not up to you, not me. She will say it. She will bear her mind without minding whose horse is gold. She was such a supporting wife to her husband. They were married for over 50 years. And in all of it, my mother was always by the side of her father. She was always there. She was always there. In the ministry, the church ministry, our mother would pray, would fast unto victory, until miracle happened. I remember a particular occasion when we were having parochial church council in one of the churches where my father worked. And my mother was having a degree program at University of Ibadan at the time, and she went for her lectures. So before she got back, it was only myself and my two younger sisters, Tosin and Bumi, that were at home. And they were having the council. The council meeting was tough. They were, screaming on our father. So we were in the guest room looking at what was happening in the church. So immediately that happened, I called my younger sisters. We knelt down, we prayed. So when mommy got back later that evening, I wanted to give her the gist. That this was what happened at the council meeting yesterday. About that the meeting was tough. They were shouting on daddy. She was about to give me a dirty slap. That was what she was doing instead of you to be praying. Immediately she launched to give me that slap. My immediate younger sister Tosin screamed that we prayed. That was when she retreated by not giving me that slap. She would expect you to pray in every situation. That if you are enjoying a very good moment, pray. If something is not good enough, pray. If you are expecting something, pray. My mother will tell us, "Oh my God, that a child of prayer never lost. A child of prayer will not get lost." She would pray, she would pray, she would fast, until things happen. I could remember while growing up, if you should do something, my mother would say, it's the spirit of, it's the familiar spirit that is asking you to do that. You are better to go to God and tell God to change your to change your heart. We thank God for our life. And all the teachings, those teachings were golden. Those teachings were golden. I think I've said a lot of things, and we sincerely want to thank each and every one of you for being part of the launch of the foundation in our memory. Since our passage, we've been able to extend our hands of fellowship to the needy, the widows, and the less privileged, especially in our home church and within our local community. We want to do more in our memory, and that's the essence of the Folahanmi Sijuwade Foundation, to cater for those who are genuinely in need. And it's a prayer that God will help us to achieve all the lofty ideals and ideas we have in mind to sustain our legacy. Thank you again, and thank you again. Bye for now.
Hello, good evening. My name is Folahanmi Sijuwade, and I'm one of the daughters of my mama, Folahanmi Sijuwade Asaolu. We bless God for the life well spent, and we thank God for bringing us through her. She was a very strict mom and a disciplinarian to the core, but in whole, she was kind, she was gentle, she was respectful. We appreciate that a lot in her. And through her life, she tried to train us in terms of her prayer life. She was a prayer warrior. And in terms of her faith, she believed so much in God, and her faith in God was so strong. And she made us realize that whatever we are going through, we should believe and have faith in God. And another thing that she always tried to teach us is to be contented with whatever we have. In terms of her ministry, one of the ministry that she enjoyed most is providing for the needy, the orphans, the widows. She's cared so much for them, and she had people on her payroll. She had people that she sent food stuff to. She had people that she checked every now and then, and yeah, she was that kind of a woman that she doesn't like to see people suffer, probably because of what she went through when she was younger, but she was a good woman, and we thank God. Although she's no longer with us, but it's over a year now that she's gone, and it still feels like it was yesterday. I haven't gotten over the shock yet, but in whole, we bless God. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. This is Temiloluwa Dada. Some calls me Bumi. It's a year already that my mother, Mama Folahanmi Sijuwade Asaolu, passed on. How time flies. Mommy lived an impactful life and she died in the Lord. She was never a burden on anyone. She was contented with what she had. My mom was a very strong pillar that held our family together in the aspect of prayer, discipline, and guidance. In my family, we were brought up to know that no matter how big or small the situation is, once you involve God, it is settled. I could remember there was a time in the house that Daddy needed to attend a meeting with the then Bishop of Videsha Diocese, Baba Ademowo, but he couldn't find his car key. We have spent hours looking for the key. We've even turned the whole house upside down. And at a point, Mommy just told us to join hands together and pray. To the glory of God, after the prayer, the first place we checked, we saw the key. As little as I was that time, made me to know that of a truth we're serving a living God. Mommy played a motherly role very well on her children, and that has really helped me to navigate in my journey of life. She never gave up on any of her children. She believed that training and investing in a child is worth all the stress she endured in life. In all, I just want to bless God for her life. Emotionally, it has been a roller coaster for me because it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all to have lost a loved one. But through it all, God's grace and strength has kept me going. I also want to use this opportunity to appreciate each and every one of you that stood by us, that supported us all through our trying times. I pray that the good Lord will bless you and your entire household. Thank you.
It's been a year that mommy has gone to be with the Lord. It has not been easy, but we thank God for lives well spent. We were fortunate, we were privileged
to be in Nigeria at that particular time. And we thank God for the life of prayer. I'm a daughter-in-law that turns to be a daughter. And I thank God I learned so many things from her. I learned how to pray for everything in my life. Everything, and I mean everything. And God has been so wonderful. Has been proving himself as the God that can answer prayers. I'm a living testimony. I spent 4 years trusting God for the fruit of the womb, but she was there. Few months before I got pregnant, she called me. She actually called my husband, and she told us that God told me, you're going to have a child. You're going to have a child. But do not tell anyone. A few months down the line, I got pregnant. We were both excited about it, but we couldn't tell anyone because she has already won. And we thank God. The pregnancy was smooth and there was no complication, there was no problem. We gave birth to Folahanmi. And for God to have done this, we thank God for our prayers. And we really miss her. We miss her calls. We miss everything about her. We pray that may her soul continue to rest in peace. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Hi, my name is Faith Asaolu, daughter of Dr. Folahanmi Sijuwade Asaolu. Today I want to talk about my grandma. I still can't believe it's been a year since she died. When my mom mentioned it, I was surprised. It doesn't seem so long. I remember breaking down and crying when I heard of the news. I was very surprised, and I regretted not seeing her before she passed. I regretted not talking to her more, not spending more time with her. I was always doted on by my grandparents. I recall she was the strict one, but as strict as she was very caring, and she doted on me all the same. She taught me a lot of things, and I love her very much. She was a very strong woman, and I will never forget her. I am a very lucky person, and I'm very glad that she is my grandma.
Everybody, I greet you from where you are watching this program, and I want to thank God who has given me the grace to be part of this tributes for our late mother, Mrs. Folahanmi Sijuwade Asaolu. To the best of my knowledge, Mama Folahanmi Asaolu was a child of God. Her lifestyle, her story could be likened to the story of Tabitha Dorcas in Acts chapter 9. She served God to the best of her ability and she worked for God. Mama Folahanmi Asaolu was a practicing Christian who served God with her wealth. She was a blessing to us in the cathedral when she was alive. She identified most importantly with the needy and the poor, the less privileged, people we look down upon, are her friends and associates. She even has some people on her payroll, people that she will give money, she will clothing, and provide food for them for weeks, for months. Mama Folahanmi Asaolu was a prayer warrior. She will attend almost all the programs, all the evangelical programs in the cathedral, unless she's not around. She will pray, and pray. And she loved to give to the work of God. Mama tried her best to serve God and humanity. There was a time I encountered her and I told her to provide water for the community where the cathedral is located. I observed that the people are suffering for water, and the Lord touched me to meet her. I went to her and asked her what God has put in my mind. Mama didn't object. She donated a borehole that served the community 24/7 to provide water for them, to provide succor for them. That was Mrs. Folahanmi Asaolu for you. She loved giving to the work of God. I believe that she's resting in the bosom of the Lord. I want to pray that her soul continue to rest in perfect peace. Thank you, and God bless you.
Mama, olóyin mọ́mọ́, olóyin mọ́mọ́. Mama, olóyin mọ́mọ́, olóyin mọ́mọ́. Wow, so it's already a year that our mommy, our sweet mommy, Mrs. Folahanmi Sijuwade Asaolu ni Arowojobe passed on to glory. How time flies. Mommy will miss you sorely. Every member of our family, the Venerable Michael and Mrs. Munijis Oshe, miss you sorely. Tijesu Nimi misses you. Simile Jesu, our second daughter, who you personally ensured admission for when all hopes were lost, misses you. Barrister Jesuye Oshe, your son, misses you. The last born of the family, Jesu Dutton, the engineer in embryo, misses you. What can we say about mommy? Is it her life of faith? Is it her passion for God? Is it her sacrificial life of giving? Is it her kind heart? Is it the way she wants it to be well with others? Your life has taught us many things. Mommy was a woman of God. She was a woman of faith. There was no mountain too high for her God to conquer. Anytime we came to the house at Irojo and shared and bring any challenges to her, we left with the assurance that God was going to do it. And indeed, God did it. Mommy was approachable. Mommy was, there is no time, Mommy was very soft in spite of her, the hard exterior, in spite of the fact that people thought she was too disciplined. Mommy had a very soft heart. There was nothing that you could not bring to her, and she was ever ready to lend a helping hand. She was an exemplary clergy wife. She was a role model to many of us. She was
a mentor, and she was a challenge to many people. She was a guiding light and a shining light. She stood apart from all the other clergy wives at Ilesha Diocese. Mommy taught us to love our husbands. We could see her loyalty, her love for her husband. And just as the Bible described that the elderly women should teach the younger women to love their husbands, she taught us to be passionate about our husband's ministry, to support our husband's ministry in prayers. She had an enormous prayer life. Mommy was a prayer warrior. She was a God's general. And as spiritual as she was also down to earth. There was nothing that you could not discuss with her. We took everything and anything to her, and she was ever ready to lift everybody that comes her way up. Mommy, you are always in our hearts. We always speak about you. You are forever in our hearts. We can never forget you. Your impact can never disappear in our lives. Your impact will always be felt, even to future generations. We love you, we miss you dearly, and we continue to pray that God rest your beautiful soul. Thank you.
Amen.
I feel greatly honored to be called upon by my sister, Dr. Buki Umi Folaji, to do this tribute in memory of our dear mother, Mrs. Folahanmi Asaolu. Let me start by saying, based on human perception, you are different things to different people. Most of the time, people see what they want to see in you. I have found out that not many people really dig deep to see the reason behind your frown, to see the pain beneath your smile, to see the genuineness beyond your firmness, or to see the love behind your passion. Not many people see what you struggle with, so they judge you, they tag you, they castigate you, and expect from you what they themselves are unable to give. It's so funny that 50 people are gathered together, you're in the midst of them, and all those 50 people want you to behave like all of them. That is practically impossible. Put them in the same situation you find yourself and see what comes out of it. And that is human beings for you. Well, we say whatever we want to say, but God is actually the righteous judge. He knows all things. But to me, Mommy was a passionate, fervent, resilient, and concerned human being. I got to know Daddy before I knew her, and since I came into the family, actually what I lost in a father, I got in my daddy, Venerable Yinka Asaolu. Now concerning Mommy, don't tell her something if you don't want her to be fully committed to it. Don't share any problem with her if you don't want that problem to become our own problem. She would go to any possible extent to ensure that you are successful in a good cause. A mother indeed, not just to her biological children, but even to other children. And I can conveniently say, to me as a person, she will ensure that you get out of trouble. She will ensure that you seek the Lord until you find him. A prayer warrior indeed. Oh my God. Mommy can pray 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I mean passionate prayers. Prayers that will draw sweat and even tears from her. Fervent prayers. That was Mommy Folahanmi Asaolu. Mommy was a down-to-earth person. She will speak the truth. She will speak her mind, no matter whose ox is God. I like to cite 2 examples here for you to know this woman I am talking about. There was this particular lady who was very well known to Mommy before she got married. And maybe a year or 2 after the marriage, she came across Mommy. And by then, this lady had become light complexioned. And she greeted Mommy. And she said, "Good morning, ma." Or was it good afternoon? Or good evening? I can't actually remember. But she greeted Mommy. And Mommy said, "Huh? Otibora, ọ̀rọ̀ àríbí iye lẹ́sì. Mo rò ọmọ Ọlọ́run ní oore." Meaning, now you have bleached your skin. You were not like this last year. I thought you were a child of God. And this incident took place in the presence of, many people who were there onlooking. What was important to her was to instill discipline, was to correct that lady, not who was there or who was not there. Another instance, there was this service that was held at St. Paul's Anglican Church, Ipetu Ijesha, where Daddy was the Archdeacon and Mommy the Archdeacon's wife. And many clergy wives came around, and there was this particular lady who had been known to Mommy, but her husband was a senior archdeacon, so to say. So she was just looking at Mommy coming and carrying her bag, and Mommy said, "Koshio, wọ́n ní gba báàgì lọ́wọ́ mi torí òpó rẹ̀." Meaning, what is wrong with you? You're just looking at me, you will not collect my bag. Is it because of your position? That is Mama Folahanmi Asaolu for you. A disciplinarian par excellence. A disciplinarian par excellence. She will not say, I will not allow this girl or this young person to insult me. No.
Thank you all so very much. We appreciate you for standing by us, for praying for us, for being there with us. Ẹ ṣojú, ẹ tún ṣẹ̀yìn, Olúwa dúró tì yín, ẹ̀mí mímọ́ á gbọ́ tì yín, ohun gbogbo tẹ́ ń fẹ́ l'Olúwa máa ṣe fún yín. We all appreciate you. Thank you all. God bless.